Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the FC Podcast. If you want to catch these episodes hours and hours and hours ahead of when they're uploaded on YouTube, then go check them out where they're originally recorded on Anchor. We post 4 episodes a week, and on YouTube we'll only upload 3 episodes. You can catch the 4th episode, the Friday episode, as a bonus on Anchor. Links will be in the channel below, and don't forget to subscribe to Millennial Me, who's the host of the podcast, and enjoy the show.
You are listening to the Fandom Collective, your source of information on pop culture, entertainment, and Hollywood, with your host, Phalon of Millennial Me, and I'm joined by my awesome co-host, the Rookie Critic. This time we are going to be talking about what makes a great movie. All right, we are back, and we are here to talk about what makes a good movie. And we're not going to be talking about specific genres. It's just overall, what makes a good movie? Is it the characters? Is it the story? Is it the pacing? What does a movie need?
Well, yeah, that is not an easy answer. And I imagine that plenty of even professional filmmakers, huge famous ones, George Lucas, just anybody around here, Quentin Tarantino, Michael Bay, even Shyamalan, Ryan Johnson, even J.J. Abrams. You can ask whomever with any of these, and they'll give you some different answers with it. But I think in some ways there's some base things that people can look to make a good movie. And what comes to your mind first with that? I mean, there's so many things that come to mind with making a good movie, but what are yours as well?
Honestly, I want to be entertained. That is part of what makes a good movie. Like you said, there's a lot of aspects, but one of them is entertain me. I don't want to be preached at, because we've seen so many movies like that. It's like, you're a horrible, trashy person if da-da-da-da-da. But no, don't preach at me. Entertain me. Make me laugh. Make me cry. Make me angry. I want to feel all range of emotions. If I'm just going bleh the whole time, then that's obviously a bad movie for me. It may not be for someone else, but for me, I want to be entertained. At the same time, it's also got to really grab you. You've got to be entertained, and you've got to really get into the story.
Yeah, I agree with that. The way I see it is, like, if somebody wants to make a movie where they do preach at you, I mean, I'm okay if they exist. I guess most of us are more annoyed these days with the consistent amount of ones that take franchises or movies where they did not have that, and then in their sequels, prequels, remakes, whatever, they just shove it in all the way. And it's like, can you not do that where this wasn't here before? This was about other things, and now you put it here. I feel like that's where that's more annoying. But in general, I'm okay if somebody wants to make a movie that's preachy. And in fact, they do all the time. It's called anything like on Hallmark. It's called the what are they? Whatever the religious ones are, I forget.
Well, they've changed
but
Hallmark. Let's see, they changed so much of Hallmark. It's not old school feel good kind of movies anymore.
Well, no. So what I'm referring to is, like, a lot of them try to scare parents into worrying about their kids. Often
that's Lifetime.
Like I might be mixing them up.
Yeah.
But whatever. Some of these ones will like, oh no, you better watch out. Your kid might be watching porn or something. Oh no, you better watch out. Your daughter might be in a pregnant pact with all her girlfriends or something.
That sounds like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, I might be good. Hallmark has all the cliche Christmas crap.
They also had like Hallmark mysteries, but they were rated G, which is why some people didn't like them. But they've changed so much of it. It's not the old school wholesome kind of stories anymore.
Right. That makes sense. Those types of movies. So that's one type of thing. I think good characters, of course, is something people would love to create. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, though, people can create good characters in a very crappy story, or vice versa, where they got a great story, but wow, what are these characters doing? Like, I feel like Twilight probably falls into that here and there, where it's like, okay, you have a okay premise of something happening, but my God, like, the most uninteresting characters are going to put you to sleep, and no one's going to care about it, I would assume.
And it also goes back into what I was saying. If I don't care about these characters, if I don't care about these stories, why?
Yeah, but that's the hard thing too, is because there's so many people, different people that are looking for
True.
different things in a lot of their stuff. So what makes a good one? See, that's where we get into a territory that a lot of people don't like to get into because it changes some of the definitions that they're used to using with it. Like a lot of people would say that a movie is whether it's good or bad is based on your experience, and I don't know, that can be true sometimes, sure. But there's a lot of movies that are good even if you didn't enjoy them, as well
Mm-hmm.
as there could be horrible ones that you enjoyed thoroughly. So that becomes
Mm-hmm.
a difficult area for a lot of people to tackle, for them to be able to accept whether a movie is bad or whether a movie's good, but it's just like I haven't seen Blade Runner yet, but
Uh-huh.
I hear most people say, "Oh, it's a fantastic, brilliant film, but my God, I can't watch it." Like, or it's so boring or long, or it's just it's just And I already know there's a lot of people, mostly women, to be honest, that do not want to watch Lord of the Rings because it's like, oh, it's so great and all, but my God, they just they either don't like that genre, they don't like the length of the film. There's
For shame.
maybe there's not enough women in it for them to attach themselves to. If we're gonna
Bull
go on
crap.
that,
I
we're
call
gonna go
BS
on
on
that
that.
theory.
There
Yeah, just
are I can think of several women because I practically live in fandoms. They love the movies, and mostly because Orlando Bloom, Viggo Mortensen at that time.
so
Yeah.
there's a huge pick. There's a huge farm to
Yeah.
pluck from.
And not just the very hot guys that are very sweaty and rugged, which seems to be the pull for once you hit your 20s and 30s. Um, there is a good story, and people and women that like a good story, like whether it's action or romance, they have something there.
Yeah, that's true.
Or if they're original fans of the books, like Miss Teresa Martin, who has been doing live streams discussing about these kind of things, like the Fellowship of the Ring. I believe she recently did a big live stream discussing the Two Towers. So it's like, yeah, I call BS on not a lot of women like it. There's a lot of women that like it for many different reasons.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying that I'm sure that if you ask the majority of women if they've seen Lord of the Rings, the majority will say they haven't, and others will say, I don't want to. With that, I imagine the majority of women would in that case. But
and this was him taking a wild guess.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong, which that'd be great.
It'd be great if he's completely wrong, and like the majority of the women are
I
like,
I mean that also in like there could be a great story that's like some kind of rom-com or what's the one, The Notebook or whatever. Like,
oh dear Lord,
most men don't want to watch that movie.
I don't want to watch it either.
Apparently, it's like super great or something. I don't know.
Or
I haven't
something.
seen it, so I don't know. But it could be really well written. It could be well written. It could be well acted. Could have great stuff that can make a good movie. But that doesn't mean everybody wants to see it.
Yeah, I'm probably about to lose my women's card for saying I don't like the movie.
Oh no! Oh no!
That's okay. I'll just go to Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit series. I'll go watch some Star Wars, and I do mean old school Star Wars, original trilogy and prequels.
Of course.
Because we all know that
possibly be.
Heck yeah. So yeah, it's like no sequel crap. But yeah, it's like I'm not.
That's actually a good one to bring up as well. With the sequel trilogy and the originals and everything, and the prequels, the originals, and the sequel trilogy. Those are like, if you're to ask which ones are good, I mean, that's a debate that never ends on which films are good, which ones are better. Yeah. There's all these different merits that can apply to each of them, surprisingly, in some way, shape, or form. I feel like there's still, at the end of the day, going to be a lot more praise for, like, especially for the OG and when it came out with everything. I'd like to give, of course, the prequels. They did a lot of technological achievements, whether or not you agree with how well it was done or acted or something. They did a lot of different
CGI.
stuff there. They did a lot of new things. Yeah, lots of new groundbreaking stuff that we use so often today. So
right, I agree with that. It's like I love the prequels. That was my teenage time, and I honestly didn't see much problem with it. I wasn't as entertained during Attack of the Clones, and I know certain people will be upset about that, but they already know I'm not a big fan of that. Revenge of the Sith was my favorite one because that was everything. That was the point that was going to lead straight into the original trilogy, even though they changed some things.
Mm-hmm.
But George Lucas was older, and he probably forgot a few things.
I think that's another thing that happens a lot these days is some of the same directors will return to making films in their franchise that was pretty much finished and keep on making them, and it's like it's a big difference between now and then. Didn't need to continue. I'm sure the Alien prequels, it's arguable. A lot of people that one's kind of on an in-betweener as well, where it's like a whole lot of people think they're fantastic, and a lot of other ones are like, God, this is awful. Why'd you make this?
Right.
Yeah, which makes sense. So what makes a good film? I mean, I feel like some people would probably say that, how much work and effort you put into it is some level that goes into it. Like you look at a lot of indie films or some films in general, or like where the actor really, puts so much in, like Tom Cruise. I don't like Tom Cruise, but I respect the hell out of him for the level the lengths he'll go to try to make what you see on screen real or feel real is incredible. And even just other ones that they do where they get in shape with their body. So Gerard Butler was Leonidas. I can't look at Gerard Butler and go, yeah, that's going to be a buff guy. It's like he's or a guy that's like Leonidas. I can't see him in that role by looking at him, but he did the work and got the prowess as well and made it. And it's like, oh, that's great. And you look at Johnny Depp, and I mean, imagine all the films he's done. Imagine it being without him in it.
Oh no.
And it's like, ooh, I mean, not saying somebody else would be bad. They could be fine, but
they wouldn't bring it to life like he did.
Hard to say how they could do. And that goes hand in hand with the skill of the directors that are directing it.
Right.
And being able to make sure that their actors are doing the right things. Because there's other films where there's great actors that aren't doing that well because maybe the direction's awful, where it's like, okay, you're supposed to do this, and they're like, I don't know about that.
Right. I agree. You can have the most amazing cast in the world, but if not everything is, you don't have all your ducks in a row. I know that we'll go back to Star Wars. The sequel fans, they love it. They're dedicated to it. And I can respect that, even though I don't like the movies, especially going back and watching now. It's like, oh my God. So this brings us back to something I did want to talk about. And it does relate to the whole concept of great cast, but horrible editing, horrible scripts. I want to talk about Rise of Skywalker. Even this movie, even the sequel fans were ticked off about this movie. Not nearly as much as the OG fans. But I honestly feel like Rise of Skywalker, while it had a great cast, I think they could have carried a strong script. But just going into Rise of Skywalker, it was very confusing. I was very confused when I started watching the movie. I was like, excuse me, sir, this feels like the middle of a movie. Where's the rest of it?
Yeah, when they start the movie with the dead speak and all these plans are happening, the Emperor's back, and here we're at this planet, Kylo grabs a thing, and now we're going over here. They're running away from them on the Falcon. Oh, we're jumping to planet to planet to planet. We arrive on the place where Rey's floating around, and then the Falcon is here, and she Skypes Kylo real quick. The rest arrive with the Millennium Falcon. They see Leia. They got to leave. They're going to go on a mission thing, and it's just like, huh? How do we go? Where? What? Huh? And Orlando, okay, and speed chase, okay, all right, and then we're underground. There's a random spaceship over there. Okay, there's an earthworm thing. Heal it, force heal. Okay, all right. Next thing is, huh? What? Like, it's just,
Exactly.
they're moving so fast. I can't hold a drink because I'll spill it. Like
It's like
too quick.
it's like Jane, get me off this crazy thing because it's honestly, I don't know if they were trying to half-ass this or not.
I feel like they were trying their best to. I think they were trying hard, but not at the right things. There's obviously lots of attempts to, make sure the fans go, okay, so The Last Jedi, not that great. But anyway, it's still not. We're still using it though, so it's fine. And okay, and then there's this thing, and okay, you guys like the Emperor, right? Huh? Emperor's back, right? Okay, cool. Like they're sweating the whole time, like just trying to come up with something. Like, oh, okay, and then like I can imagine as soon as they say, okay, we'll do this. Well, you guys like this? And then somebody in the staff represents the sequel fans. No, they'll hate this. You should probably do this. Oh, okay, fine. We'll do that. Okay, Rey can't really lose. She'll lose for a sec, but then she'll stab Kylo and win. It's like, what? Okay, we'll just get back to that later. And okay, how does he come back? She heals him. Why? Because now he's going to be good. Are you sure about that? We'll just have like a memory of Han Solo show up or something, or whatever. He's Force or something, right? No, he's not a Force ghost. Well, then don't make him glowy blue. Just make him show up. It's just like, I imagine that's how quickly the conversations were going of trying to figure out what to do because they're just trying to figure out the next thing. What about the stormtroopers? Let's make them all black. Oh, they're just like Finn then, right? It's all the Force users now. Okay, well, whatever. It's just cover that. Yeah, they all have a feeling. How come the ships on the Exegol planet can't escape? They don't know how to go up without the tower working. Okay, fuck off. It's just the entire they're just everything they're doing is trying to account for something and then ignoring it. It seems.
Yeah, and then after the movie has completely bombed, they try to explain everything away with books.
Well, they try to hold that up as some type of reason as to why it can be enjoyable. It's like, oh, you didn't get everything you wanted out of the film. Well, we can answer some of that stuff here in this little book. You see, they fly now.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's like let's look at the prequels. Let's look at the original trilogy. While they did have books that did explain some extra details that the movie did not have, they didn't need the books to help them even be. How do I want to put this?
They didn't need to fill a hole.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't need the explanation. What you saw, it was great. Unless you're my dad who hates Star Wars with every fiber of his being. But
I'd love to hear him talk about how he doesn't like it. That'd be kind of funny.
Oh my god, I'm sending him towards you.
I want to go. Hey, so do you love? How much do you love C-3PO, sir? Oh, that stupid droid, man, screw me, wiggling around. I'd love to hear that.
He is a hardcore OG Star Trek fan.
Oh boy. Okay.
But he was like a year old when I think the first episode aired. So.
Oh wow, grew up with it.
Oh yeah.
See, the Rise of Skywalker is so interesting; it makes us talk about other things.
Right.
But yeah, that's an interesting example of making a movie that because a lot of people enjoyed that more than The Last Jedi, even though it's just as atrocious. Mm-hmm. It's in a way it's more interesting in how it's done, and it's not. I guess it's not boring, even though like nothing of substance really happens throughout the whole film.
It's true.
It's almost like The Last Jedi. It's like the Canto Bight and the little chase. It's almost just like that throughout the whole film.
Okay, the only thing I remember
feels like things are happening.
The only thing that pops up in my mind when I think of Rise of Skywalker, and that is that last. Actually, it is Ben Solo showing up and fighting. He was more of an interesting character than Rey, but we all know this.
Yeah,
that's what I remember. Them using that whole trick about giving weapons to each other. The end of the movie is the only memorable thing about it to me.
Yeah,
not so much as all these amazing ships showing up to help fight, because that doesn't even jump at me. I'm like, why?
Well, if you think about it too, they spend a long time like trying to make it clear that it's difficult to get to this planet, and you have to like have certain coordinates and
And then how did all
navigate
these
through a
people get
thingy,
here?
and all these people and all these different sized ships, all go through that. And then you also think, how the hell are the Empire gonna have their giant ships leave with all that? Like, have them go
Exactly.
through the space cancer, as EFAP calls it. It's like, yeah, that's seems pretty difficult.
Honestly, that Rise of Skywalker is a perfect example of a not great movie, in my opinion. And I'm sure a lot of people agree that it does not even fit the definition of what makes a movie good or great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it barely it just falls enough under the category of a film.
It's
I think
it's a thing. I wouldn't even give it the name film because it's like these poor actors.
well,
Y'all deserve better.
well, I mean, regardless if it's good or not, like the worst film ever is still a film. Like that's kind of where this falls under, where it's like, oh, you have moving images that correlate in a it's from a beginning to an end, sort of like.
True.
There is an end point, I guess. So
I guess
you kind of had a story. You had something there.
You had something there.
Like there's things in it, and I feel like if somebody's really good at editing, they could somewhat make it more coherent. But I don't know that. I don't even know if that'd be worth it. Still, I know Ivan Ortega tried to re-edit The Last Jedi, and he cut certain bits in and out and added reverse things, and that's still it's like, I guess, but it's still just the movie. It's like it's still shells of the movie. It's echoes of it still. It's still
Agreed.
not able to undo the damage, unfortunately. It still feels, the impact just feels less interesting because it doesn't piss you off as hard. It's just more, it just feels more mundane. Like,
Agreed.
I guess that part's slightly better.
Right. But yeah, I think this is a good conversation, and we may have to extend it at a later time because honestly, at the end of the day, there is no true definition of what makes a film good. It's great for conversation. I'll say that. But at the end of the day, you have to make the decision yourself. What makes a great movie? And we would definitely love to hear from you in the Spotify Q&A about this very topic. How would you define a good or great film? This is the Fandom Collective, and we will catch y'all on the flip side.